Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I am trying something new, a brand new type of focal image. Well, new to me, transfers from Prima. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So this page started as me using up leftover paint. This is unbleached titanium, and I mixed it with a little bit of alizarin crimson with the makeup sponge. Now the page has already been gessoed. I have those at the ready, so whenever I have leftover paint or some kind of collage paper, I can just open it up and put it on a page. These pages evolve over time. I'll link the playlist of the Accidental Art Journal and you can get a more complete picture of what goes in here and how these pages evolve. So I'm just taping off the top of it just so I don't get all the paint on there. So again, I'm mixing unbleached titanium and alizarin crimson and getting that soft pink hue. Now, I simply wanted to use up the leftover paint and get a start to another art journal page. But this page just took off. I got inspired and the page quickly came into being. So again, I'm moving some gesso in there, just getting a good base coat of color down there. Now this is just a composition book, so the pages are wrinkly, but that just adds some wonderful texture. So once I finished the background, I had looked up and I noticed this napkin that I had. I don't even know where I got this or how long I've had it. And I noticed that the pinks in the roses matched this background perfectly. So I decided, you know what? Let's just keep going with it. One of the other purposes of the Accidental Art Journal, other than using unused paint and little bits that you have leftovers, one of the things that I do is to test out new products or techniques. It's a great place because it's only a composition book and it's nothing too precious, nothing too costly or expensive. And so I'm free to explore and experiment in this book. So I peeled off the excess layers and now I'm using a liner brush to water cut the parts that I don't want off. So when you're water cutting, you can use some or all of it, you can edit it, you can combine napkins, you can do all sorts of things. Once you realize that you're not limited to exactly what is there. So I'm going to tuck this in the corner, and there is no need for me to put this on copy paper because the background is so light. It's not going to distort the color of the flower. Now these are the transfers I spoke of. These are from Prima Maxi transfers, and I've had these for a while. I got them from Ninny's Napkins, so you can go check out the other transfers that she has. There's a link in the description box. Now I've had these for a while and I pull them out and they go back in the stash, and I pull them out and they go back in the stash. And then I remembered what I keep telling everybody else: cut it apart. So I'm cutting each of the elements apart, and then I'm just going to store them in this plastic envelope, and then I can take them out and addition them on the pages. Right, this looks beautiful. This is another Accidental Art Journal page that I've done over time, but I could put this one right there. Beautiful. It all comes together. And you see how the Accidental Art Journal works. So I'm just flipping through and I'm additioning some of the various elements that I have in this transfer. And then I come to this page, and because it reads very vintage, it works really well with many of the elements. Now I'm really liking the book. That one book is kind of the burgundy color. It ties in with the floral colors. The mushrooms would work too. Now, I have never used transfers. And I've kind of avoided it because I thought they were shiny and stuff, but I thought, you know what, just give it a try. So according to the instructions, you just peel off the backing, place it, and then use the tool to transfer it onto your page. Now I was expecting the transfer to be shiny, and when I peel this back, I discovered that it is not shiny at all. It's a very matte finish. So what I found is I just starting at the top, and I'm just pressing down to get that to transfer. And it went fairly quickly, and I just started top, moving down little by little. Take your time, check if it doesn't come off perfectly, put that plastic sheet back on and press again, just as you see me doing here. I find using narrower strokes worked better. So here I am pleasantly surprised that it is matte finished, it's not shiny. I'm thinking, okay, so maybe I've misjudged transfers all this time. The art of these transfers are absolutely gorgeous. It's already cut out. You don't have to use matte medium to glue it down like the napkin. Maybe I need to rethink using transfers. So here I wanted to add some more interest to the background. Kind of got a little ahead of myself, so I'm grabbing my archival black ink and my script stamp, and I'm stamping on the background, adding just a little bit more interest, I guess. Yes, it would have been easier to do this stamping before I put the transfer down, but I was excited to use the transfer and didn't do it. I grabbed the Harlequin stencil and I stencil with a mixture of unbleached titanium and alizarin crimson. And I apologize, I lost some footage here. I was having some technical difficulties, but I'll talk you through. I found this saying, some stories stay with us forever. And I cut it out. I bubble cut, leaving a little bit of white, but then I thought the scale was too small, so I blew up that sentiment, made it bigger, and cut it out again. So I cut, and I call it bubble cutting because I leave a little bit of white around it, but I remove the majority of the white. And I think this sizing works a whole lot better. I wondered what would happen if I put matte medium on top, if it would take. And an interesting thing happened. No problem, no bubbling, no lifting of the transfer. But now, as you can see, it has a shine. And even once it was dry, it still had this shine or sheen on it that wasn't there with just the transfer. But it did allow me to shade and overpaint on it. The transfer by itself, it wouldn't allow you to put paint on top of it. So if you want to overpaint or paint it, you need to put either matte medium or a coat of clear gesso. I did some shading around the edge and on the books, but that footage was lost. I splattered with gold paint, and that brings us to the end. So this page started with unused paint and had me using a new supply, transfers from Prima. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, go get creative.